Thomas Jefferson, a prominent president in our history, began his term in office on March 4, 1797, as vice president after losing to John Adams. Adams and Jefferson did not see eye to eye on certain matters. Jefferson favored strong state and local governments, whereas Adams, a Federalist, favored a strong national government. Regardless of their differences, Jefferson successfully took action and drafted resolutions in protest of the Alien Sedition Acts, which restricted public display of sympathy for French revolutionaries. Congress passed these resolutions supporting Jefferson. In May of 1800, the Democratic-Republican caucus established the first national platform for presidency, resulting in a tie between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr. There was no system in place yet for ties. However, Alexander Hamilton, an influential leader of the Federalists, convinced his party that Jefferson would be a lesser political evil and was not corrupt like Burr. Taking Hamilton's recommendations, the House of Representatives convened and broke the tie between Jefferson and Burr. With Jefferson being elected and named president, Burr was named vice president. It was hopeful that they would work well together because they were from the same political party. On March 4, 1801, Jefferson and Burr were inaugurated in Washington. Jefferson was remarkably successful and productive in keeping with his Republican values. He wanted to simplify government, scale down the elegances. He focused on strengthening relationships that would help him govern. For example, he would have small dinner parties with either all Federalists or all Republicans in order to help exercise, influence, and strengthen those relationships. He was weary of the Hamiltonian policies that were put into place during Adams' presidency, such as establishing a national bank and securing commercial ties with Britain. Those policies seemed to promote the interests of money seekers at the expense of the country. He thought that financial schemes that would make rich men richer were corrupt. He believed that the true source of liberty was in the independent farmer, someone who owned his own land and worked for himself. Jefferson set out to dismantle Federalist innovations. He reduced the army by a third and navy to just a dozen ships. He abolished federal taxes based on population or whiskey. He limited the federal government to just maintaining the postal system, the federal courts, staffing lighthouses, collecting customs duties, and conducting a census once every 10 years. The entire payroll of the executive branch amounted to 130 people. Jefferson was able to reduce the national debt from $80 million to $57 million. In the second year of his presidency, Jefferson also replaced Vice President Burr with George Clinton after Burr brutally wounded and killed Alexander Hamilton in a duel. His second term was afflicted with troubles at home, along with the failed treason trial of Aaron Burr. America wanted to stay out of the Napoleonic War, but when American merchantmen were seized, Jefferson felt he had to reinforce American neutrality. He created the embargo laws. They prohibited trade with a particular country, in this case Britain. However, it was not a success. Britain captured American seamen and forced them into servicing their warships. During this term, he also doubled the size of our country through the Louisiana Purchase. The acquisition of the Louisiana Territory was around 828,000 square acres. A total of 68 million francs or 15 million US dollars, or approximately 42 cents per acre, was paid for the land. President Thomas Jefferson accomplished many things throughout his presidency, but his achievements do not end there. In his retirement, he pursued numerous interests in science, music, and agriculture. He is also famous for developing the decimal system. He sent the famous Lewis and Clark on an expedition toward the west to explore the other side of the United States. He also founded the University of Virginia. Jefferson's accomplishments are both great and many. He was a humble individual who helped shape our country to make it bigger, stronger, and wiser.